Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major development of the week. I am your host, İlham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. On November 10th, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, and President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, met in a video conference format. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces İlham Əliyev, and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva met with a serviceman undergoing treatment at Clinical Medical Center No. 1. On November 10th, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, and President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, met in a video conference format. President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, and President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, greeted each other. President Vladimir Putin said that they were going to sign a trilateral declaration of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia, and the President of the Russian Federation. I hope very much that the decision set out in our joint statement will not only put an end to the many years of confrontation between Armenia and Azerbaijan, not only put an end to the bloodshed on this land, but also create reliable mechanisms to exercise control over the agreements we have reached in our statement today. But most importantly, it will create favorable conditions for a long-term historical future for the development of relations in the region. First of all, friendly relations between the Republic of Azerbaijan and Armenia in the interests of both the Azerbaijan and Armenian peoples, said Vladimir Putin. President İlham Əliyev thanked Vladimir Putin and for his part said that he was very glad that an end was put to the long-term conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan and to the occupation of Azerbaijani lands through an agreement on important positions which has taken more than 1 hour and in general more than 1 day. We have reached a settlement that I believe meets the interests of the peoples of Azerbaijan, Armenia and countries of the region. I must say that the military political settlement of the conflict we are now seeing will, I am sure, lead to the long-term peace and accord in our region and put an end to confrontation and bloodshed, said the head of state. The Armenia-Azerbaijan Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is one of the longest-running conflicts in our region, in Eurasia, and the fact that it is coming to an end today is a historic event. It is a historic event, first of all, for the people of Azerbaijan, which are finally getting rid of the many years of occupation. It is also a triumph of the norms and principles of international law, the implementation of the UN Security Council resolutions, which unfortunately remained on paper for a long time. President İlham Əliyev expressed gratitude to Vladimir Putin for his active participation in the settlement of process in previous years, especially during the hot phase of the conflict. The other said that signing of this document by the three leaders of the countries speaks volumes of the special role of the Russian Federation in the settlement of this conflict. President İlham Əliyev expressed confidence that the role of the Russian Federation in further activities in the regions, including the overcoming of the consequences of the conflict and the normalization of relations between Azerbaijan and Armenia, will also be significant. President İlham Əliyev also expressed his gratitude to the President of the Republic of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, for his active participation in the political settlement of the conflict. One of the provisions of today's statement was the joint peacekeeping mission of Russia and Turkey, thus a completely new format of interaction in the region, not only within the framework of the conflict settlement, but also for the future development will be created. Because one of the provisions also stipulates the opening of all transport communications, which will benefit all the countries of the region. President İlham Əliyev said he was signing this document with a feeling of joy and a sense of pride and congratulated the entire Azerbaijani people on this historic event. I think, as I said, that this will indeed benefit the interests of both the Armenian and Azerbaijani peoples. Russia, for its part, will do everything possible to ensure that all the positions reached during the negotiations between the three parties are implemented. Thank you, said President Vladimir Putin. President Vladimir Putin wished President Ilham Aliyev and to all people living in these territories, all the best. Vladimir Putin expressed hope that they have done a good deed and created good basic conditions for the progressive development of relations between all countries of this region for the benefit of the people living in these territories, for the benefit of the Azerbaijani and Armenian peoples. President Ilham Aliyev once again thanked Vladimir Putin for his personal involvement and expressed confidence that what happened today will go down in history as a very important historic date in the history of the peoples of Russia, Azerbaijan and Armenia. On November 10th, President Ilham Aliyev addressed the nation.
In his speech, President Ilham Aliyev emphasized that this is a historic day for our country today. An end was put to the Armenian-Azerbaijani Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. The head of state said that signed trilateral statement will put a full stop in resolving the issue. The statement, signed by President of Azerbaijan, President of Russia and Prime Minister of Armenia, declares a complete ceasefire and the cessation of all hostilities in the zone of Nagorno-Karabakh conflict shall be introduced at 0000 hours Moscow time on 10th November 2020. The Republic of Azerbaijan and the Republic of Armenia, hereinafter referred to as the parties, shall stop at their current positions. Aghdam districts shall be returned to the Republic of Azerbaijan before 20th November 2020. Along the contact line in Nagorno-Karabakh and along the Lachin corridor, a peacekeeping contingent of the Russian Federation shall be deployed in the amount of 1,960 military personnel with small arms, 90 armored personnel carriers, 380 units of automobile and special equipment. The peacekeeping contingent of the Russian Federation shall be deployed in parallel with the withdrawal of the Armenian armed forces. The period of stay of the peacekeeping contingent of the Russian Federation is 5 years, shall be automatically extended by a further 5-year period if none of the parties declares 6 months prior to the expiration of the period of its intention to terminate the application of this provision. In order to increase the effectiveness of control over the implementation of the agreements by the parties to the conflict, a peacekeeping center shall be deployed to exercise control over the ceasefire. The Republic of Armenia shall return Kelbajar district to the Republic of Azerbaijan before November 15, 2020, and Lachin district before 1st December 2020, while retaining the Lachin corridor, 5 km wide, which shall provide a connection of Nagorno-Karabakh with Armenia and shall not affect the city of Shusha. By agreement of the parties, a plan for the construction of a new route along the Lachin corridor shall be determined in the next 3 years, providing communication between Nagorno-Karabakh and Armenia, the subsequent redeployment of the Russian peacekeeping contingent to protect this route. The Republic of Azerbaijan shall guarantee the safety of citizens, vehicles and goods traveling along the Lachin corridor in both directions. Internally displaced persons and refugees shall return to the territory of Nagorno-Karabakh and adjacent districts under the control of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. The exchange of prisoners of war and other detainees and bodies of the dead shall be carried out. All economic and transport links in the region shall be restored. The Republic of Armenia guarantees the safety of transport links between the western regions of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic in order to organize unhindered movement of citizens, vehicles and goods in both directions. Control over transport shall be exercised by the bodies of the border guard system of the Federal Security Service of Russia. President Ilham Aliyev proclaimed that this statement has been signed in video conference format. At the first stage, the heads of the 3 states were supposed to sign the statement in this video conference format. However, at the very last moment, the Armenian Prime Minister refused. This is somewhat understandable, because this statement is actually tantamount to Armenian military capitulation. The head of state emphasized that this statement was signed by the President of Russia and him, and this statement has been prepared in Russian. After the signing, this document was submitted to the Russian ambassador, and the heads of state and government of Russia and Armenia will sign this document afterwards. President Ilham Aliyev called this statement our glorious victory. This statement allows us the opportunity to return our other occupied regions, Aghdam, Lachin, Kelbajar, without bloodshed. Underlining that he bows to the memory of our martyrs, President Ilham Aliyev confirms that he praised the efforts of both the President of Turkey and the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin. The head of state particularly emphasized that a link is being established between the Nakhchivan Autonomous Republic and the rest of Azerbaijan. This war showed the whole world how great the Azerbaijani people are, the unconquered people, the people with iron resolve. The victorious people, our victorious army, said the head of state, once more stressing that the expression Karabakh is Azerbaijan, an exclamation mark, has already become a symbol of our victory and has already become a national slogan, and ended his address with the words, "Glory to the Azerbaijani people, long live Azerbaijan."
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces İlham Aliyev and First Lady Mehriban Aliyeva met with servicemen undergoing treatment at Clinical Medical Center No. 1.
The head of state said that the patriotic war was over and Azerbaijan won a bright victory in this war. Our lands were liberated from occupation. I have come to personally congratulate you on this bright victory, President İlham Aliyev said, and noted that the Second Karabakh War will remain in history as a glorious victory of Azerbaijan. The unity and solidarity of our entire people played a role in this victory. If we hadn't won this victory on the battlefield, I don't believe that the invaders would have left the remaining lands. As for about 30 years, the enemy, intending to make this occupation internal, tried to keep our lands under occupation in various ways. President İlham Aliyev said and stressed that we achieved this victory with the blood of martyrs, the valor of the military at the expense of state policy. The memory of the martyrs of the patriotic war was honored.
Allah bütün şəhidlərimizə rəhmət eləsin. Allah sizə şəfa versin.
The head of state noted that the whole world saw the power of Azerbaijan. From the first days of the war, they gained superiority in the political sphere and in the spheres of military development and in the professionalism of servicemen, and successfully achieved the final goal. Reporting that the enemy had built fortifications in the occupied territories, deceiving us and the intermediaries for about 30 years, President İlham Aliyev noted that the side of the territories liberated from the occupation showed that the enemy lived with a feeling of hatred towards the Azerbaijani people. In 99% of the territories liberated from occupation, all buildings and all religious and historical monuments have been destroyed. The head of state stressed that an order had already been given to calculate the damage caused. Groups were mobilized, international experts were invited. With the participation of international experts, the material and moral damage of all destruction will be calculated, and we as individuals, and at the same time in a general manner, will bring the enemy to international courts. They will pay the compensation and answer for their dirty deeds. President İlham Aliyev said, stressing that the signed joint statement actually became an act of Armenia's surrender. The head of state said that during the patriotic war, we demonstrated solidarity, demonstrated unity, and this unity will allow us to return life to the lands liberated from occupation, to return internally displaced persons to these places in a short time. Karabakh will turn into a real paradise. The head of state noted that all destroyed houses will be rebuilt at the expense of the state. All work will be carried out to ensure the health of wounded servicemen. The relatives of the martyrs of the patriotic war will be provided with material assistance in a short period of time, and after accurate calculation they will be provided with apartments, houses. Servicemen who have shown heroism on the battlefield and in the rear will be awarded. I have already given instructions, and I want to announce to you that new orders and medals will be established in Azerbaijan. These orders will be awarded only to servicemen and civilians who distinguished themselves in the patriotic war, the head of state emphasized. He said that the enemy's military equipment taken as trophies will be delivered to Baku and demonstrated. I will always be by your side. You can trust me. Our heroic fighters will be under my control in the future, the head of state said, and wished them a speedy recovery. Serviceman Mayal Askarov expressed gratitude for the attention shown.
Sağ olun, sağ olun.
Şiddet bu işler yedik. Sağ ol. Otur otur. Sen farklı yalan. Odana. Farklı yalan. Farklı yalan. Hocam. Sağ olun inşallah. Sağ olun. Kesinlikle sağ olun. Allah razı olsun. Çok sağ olun.
President of the Republic of Azerbaijan İlham Aliyev received Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Turkey Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, Minister of National Defense of Turkey Hulusi Akar, and Director of National Intelligence Organization of Turkey Hakan Fidan.
President İlham Aliyev greeted the guests and said, "Dear friends, dear guests, this is my first meeting after the victory. Of course, it's a meeting with my brothers. This morning I had a phone conversation with my dear brother, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. We've congratulated each other on this great victory. At the same time, we exchanged views on future work. On behalf of myself and all the people of Azerbaijan, I once again express my deep gratitude to my dear brother and all the people of Turkey for this support and solidarity. During all these 44 days, we always felt the support of brotherly Turkey. The whole Azerbaijani people felt this support." The scene on Turkish television right after the signing of a statement was very heartwarming. "That is our Turkish brothers rejoice in this victory as their victory. This is our joint victory. It's a confirmation of the Turkish-Azerbaijani union. Today, this unity is perhaps the highest in history. All these days, Turkish officials, members of parliament, ministers, public activists, the press, the general public, all our brothers have been very supportive of us. Today, of course, we are very happy that 30 years later we have finally liberated our ancestral lands from occupation. Today, during a conversation with my dear brother, we also exchanged views on the activities of the Turkish-Russian Joint Ceasefire Control Center. I think this is a very important step. This is a new format of cooperation in the region. We've always wanted Turkey and Russia to play an equal role in the Armenian-Azerbaijani Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, and today we have achieved this. Later, we will talk to you about the future activities of the center and with our Russian colleagues to establish the center as soon as possible, because there is already a schedule for the withdrawal of the Armenian armed forces from our lands. By the end of this month, they must withdraw from all lands that are still under occupation. Thus, there is a great benefit in creating the center in a short time." Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu thanked Mr. President for the hospitality and said they are pleased to visit their home again. "Today you had a phone conversation with your brother, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. But before boarding the plane, he called me and told me once again to convey his greetings and congratulations to you. We once again congratulate you on your victory. Your victory, our victory, on this great victory. As the Supreme Commander-in-Chief under your leadership, the heroic Azerbaijani army demonstrated to friends and enemies what it's capable of, and at the same time it showed the strength of the Turks," said Mevlut Çavuşoğlu. In this process, under your leadership, brotherly Azerbaijan has shown its presence both on the battlefield and on the table. Despite your victories on the battlefield, you have shown great leadership in resolving this conflict peacefully and through a ceasefire. But unfortunately, Armenia did not use these opportunities. I hope this time they will learn from it. Along with the victories on the battlefield, the rest of Azerbaijani lands will be returned to Azerbaijan with a short-term calendar, I hope. We are proud of your success both on the battlefield and diplomatically. As Turkey, we have always said that we are with Azerbaijan both on the battlefield and at the table, especially our esteemed president. In the next process, as you said, we will discuss and evaluate the steps we will take, including the establishment of a joint control center. We will do the necessary work together with our colleagues in accordance with your instructions and tasks. For this purpose, we have come to receive your assignments, said Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, and once again congratulated Mr. President. President İlham Aliyev in his turn thanked Mevlut Çavuşoğlu and expressed gratitude to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan for his greetings and asked Mr. Minister to convey his greetings to Turkish President.
On November 6, President İlham Aliyev was interviewed by BBC News. If Armenia does not undertake the obligation to withdraw troops from the occupied territories, continues to resist and tries to return the lands liberated by us, we will fight till the end, President İlham Aliyev said this in an interview with BBC News. As for the security of the Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh, the head of state said that despite their policy of ethnic cleansing against Azerbaijanis, Azerbaijan will not behave in the same way. Even when they bombed Ganja and Barda and killed civilians, Azerbaijan took revenge on the battlefield. To the question that the Armenians living in Azerbaijan live in fear, therefore they changed their last name so that they would not be recognized openly, President İlham Aliyev noted that this was false information and added that the sister of the former Minister of Defense of Armenia, Harutyunyan, lived in Azerbaijan. If you want, we can arrange a meeting with her, the head of state said. President İlham Aliyev emphasized that the Armenians expelled Azerbaijanis not only from Nagorno-Karabakh, but also from 7 regions located on the administrative border with Nagorno-Karabakh, where Armenians have never lived. They changed the names of towns and villages. In the interview, President İlham Aliyev criticized the biased position of the Western media towards military actions and asked a question. Nobody asks Pashinyan why he attacked Ganja with ballistic missiles. Nobody asks him where he gets the weapons from. They only attack us. International media slander only Azerbaijan. Answering the journalist's question regarding the provision of guarantees for the Armenian population, free media, opposition in Azerbaijan, including the alleged persecution of the opposition and free press in Azerbaijan, the head of state said that it was impossible to imagine restrictions on the media in a country where there was free internet. There was no censorship and 80% of people were internet users, emphasizing that we have the opposition, there are NGOs, we have free political activity, there is free media, there is freedom of speech. President İlham Aliyev, focusing on one point, asked, instead of accusing me that the Armenians will not have a free press here, let's talk about Assange. Excuse me, how long did he spend at the Ecuadorian embassy and for what? Where is he now? You held this person hostage for his journalistic activities. In fact, you killed him mentally and physically. You did it, not us. Now he is in jail. If you engage in such matters, then you have no moral right to talk about free press, said the head of state. Noting that before the return of civilians to the liberated territories, an assessment of the damage caused by Armenia to Azerbaijan and the property of our citizens will be carried out, and international experts will be invited, President İlham Aliyev said that lawsuits will be filed against Armenia, and in this regard, preparatory work is already underway. President İlham Aliyev once again stressed that Azerbaijan does not want to expand the geography of military operations, but if Azerbaijan faces aggressions and sees the need for military support from Turkey, then this option will be entertained. Noting that the restoration of our territorial integrity, the return of our lands was his main task as president, the head of state said, I'm glad that I'm coping with this task with honor, and thanks to the support, work and courage of the Azerbaijani people, we are returning our lands. The selflessness of the Azerbaijani people once again shows that we are a great people. We have demonstrated unity, and this unity will further strengthen us, make our country even more powerful, stated with confidence President İlham Aliyev.
After its crushing defeat to Azerbaijan, chaos and anarchy continues in Armenia. For the 5th day in Yerevan, anti-government actions have not subsided. Meanwhile, the discovered body of one of the participants in the riot shook the country even more, and Armenia is on the verge of a civil war. Protesters continued their protest actions on Freedom Square in the evening in Yerevan. Tens of thousands of disgruntled masses blaming Pashinyan for everything chanted, Pashinyan resign. Opposition leader, head of the Prosperous Armenia Party, president of the National Olympic Committee of Armenia, member of parliament tycoon Gagik Tsarukyan, accused Pashinyan of the fact that together with his supporters, having created a dictatorial regime over the past 2.5 years, he put Armenia in a terrible situation in all spheres, including economic, social, diplomatic, and it will take 100 years to heal these wounds. Meanwhile, in an interview to Первый канал of Armenia, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan was forced to converse in many ways, and above all, in the fact that they would not be able to withstand for a long time in front of the world's most modern weapons of the 5th generation, in particular airstrikes and military equipment. In addition, according to Pashinyan, the enemy was superior in numbers, contingent and reserve forces. If the fighting had lasted a few more days, the number of casualties would have increased tenfold, Nikol Pashinyan said. The Prime Minister also admitted something else. He said that along with some negative incidents in the army, the supply of weapons and ammunition for the battle was depleted. At the end of the interview, the Prime Minister of Armenia called on the protesters to stop the protest. That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us, and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.